broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing after shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Yeah, let the buzz begin. We are here with another episode of Silicon Valley's After Show. I'm your host, JB Zimmerman, joined by the panel as always.
Hey guys, I'm Jon Manganello. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Johnny Mangs.
Hey guys, how's it going? My name's Quinn Scillian. You can find me on Twitter at Quinn Scillian.
Hey, I'm Kelly McInerney. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at HollyWeirdo.
Nice. So let's talk about the episode. Great episode. It's episode 5, so we are at the halfway mark.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
You know that for sure there's going to be only 10 episodes?
I believe it's 10 this season, yes.
Okay.
I don't know,
Not enough.
Yeah, it's gone by really fast this whole season. I feel like it's kind of flown by.
Totally.
But good, because it's not boring. Let's first talk about sort of the side story, which is Big Head and Nucleus, the whole Hooli situation. Mm-hmm. We see where the
banner
whole
checked out. That's a little bit of wordplay for you.
That was great, Quinn.
You're welcome.
Thank you. That's the pun corner with Quinn Scillian.
I'll be
It's a
here all
separate
week.
segment.
No, you'll be here.
Just tonight. And then
Each week.
And then next week. Yeah, exactly a week from today.
Yeah.
Whatever.
But yeah, banner check, not a fan of Big Head at all, or his antics. I mean, they kind of gave Big Head free reign, so that must be annoying to just see that sort of the next in line has no serious agenda at all.
Big Head is taking dicking around to like a whole new level.
Like they're making potato launchers.
Yeah.
And just a refresher, Big Head was given this job, or at least his job title, because why? Hooli wants a young, fresh, Pied Piper-like person?
No, they want to prove that.
You're exactly wrong.
Right. It's because of Pied Piper, right? They want to make a paper trail with Pied Piper.
They want to give Big Head a lot of clout at Hooli to make it look like someone big, high up, and important at Hooli was involved with Pied Piper.
And created it at Hooli.
Right.
Yes.
Thank you, ladies.
How's that different than what I said? I thought that's what I was saying, though.
I thought you said they wanted something like someone fresh-faced and young.
Yeah.
No. They want him to look like he's... Yeah.
No.
I don't see the difference.
Well, it's not because that he's young
They don't
and
want
or
him at all.
fresh-faced.
It's just because of his involvement with Pied Piper.
Yeah,
Right.
they're just using him as a pawn to win this case.
Right. Kind of like a paper trail for the litigation.
I see.
Yeah.
So he can do whatever
Which
he
actually
wants.
wasn't mentioned, the lawsuit wasn't mentioned at all this episode.
Right. Which I guess it's happening in the background. It's interesting they haven't sort of peppered that in at all, really, just to like check in.
Yeah.
We just came from a meeting, like some just tie-in line.
These past couple episodes, we've seen Hooli and we've seen Gavin and stuff, but like it's been super like, low key that whole situation, and all the stuff going on with the guys at Ehrlich's has definitely been like a majority of the episodes. So I feel like we're gonna have to see all this stuff come to light here in like a couple episodes. Like it's gonna have to start being like more to the forefront of the story, don't you?
Right. Well, I mean, they haven't touched on it at all. So just that fact, I feel like there's a big void. And it must be coming up.
Right.
Because Suzanne, when she was here, said, track this. This is going to be a recurring theme. I can only imagine that when she comes back, or later in the season.
We didn't see Monica at all this episode either.
We did not.
Weird.
But in the episode preview for next week, I noticed we saw her. I was like, oh yeah, you haven't been on for like a week or so.
Well,
it's weird. It's weird when a key character like goes missing for a second. And yeah,
I thought it was a Big Head too. Remember, we're like, wasn't there another character on the show?
Right.
What happened to him?
It's true we didn't talk directly about the lawsuit today, but I think what today's episode did a good job at was building up the suspense that we're going to have for this, the crumbling or the downfall of Hooli and what they're doing at Nucleus.
I know, obviously like
Right.
things are not progressing at Nucleus the way Gavin thinks they are.
They're at least 6 weeks behind. Someone
No,
said 15 weeks behind, and then someone said, no, it's not even. 15 weeks is even worse than that.
Yeah, right.
Well, that's a relief, though.
Such a relief.
Yeah.
We hadn't really gotten to see into what was actually going on at
Right.
Nucleus, because I know there was that one character, I can't remember his name, but they kind of met him last season, and he was there. We hadn't seen him at all, so we, I mean, I think it's definitely a little bit of a breather for us to be like, oh, okay, cool. They're not doing so
Right.
well.
It's great.
Well, it's interesting to see the different parallels with the corporate structure that they have. Obviously, since we're talking about Huli, theirs is very fear-based, obviously. Like, they're afraid to tell their own bosses, like, not just Gavin Belson, but their own managers what's actually going on, and like giving them a real update status of where they're at.
Well, and also just interesting to me that you have Pied Piper and then you have Nucleus, obviously part of Huli. And Pied Piper is out of Ehrlich's house. It looks like nothing because it's inside of someone's living room practically, and now garage, I guess. And they have really nothing to show for except the one thing that I would think is important, which is they have the programming. Like it's invisible, but it works and it's amazing. Whereas Huli is the exact opposite. They have everything to show. It's all flashy. It's all showy. It all looks great. But they're as we heard at the end of the episode, at least a couple weeks behind, or at least 15 weeks
yeah,
behind.
and like you were saying about them not being able to like tell their bosses, kind of just like full disclosure what's going on.
Right.
Whereas like over at Pied Piper, it seems super collaborative, and they're working. They hiring all these people who are supposedly the best in their field and everything like that. So I think that's also
exactly.
huge.
I think with big companies that can happen much more easily. I mean, there's a lot of diffusion of responsibility. There's like too many cooks in the kitchen, basically, and they can't be as productive. Whereas Pied Piper, it's all hands on deck. Like everybody's
they're literally building their
in.
own servers. Like
They hired just the amount of people so everybody can work equally. I feel like Huli, look, they had Big Head doing nothing but still on the pay rate.
Yeah, I mean, he's still doing it.
Yeah.
He's
But
firing potatoes.
I think it would be beneficial, and I turned to you guys when we were watching tonight, saying, Rich has got to fire some of these people. Like, obviously they're smart and they're good minds and they're doing good work, but something needs to happen, because I think this business model is about to explode.
Maybe not fire them, but they gotta whip them into shape a little bit, like, especially like Guilfoyle. Like,
But that's why I was excited.
Could there be a bigger asshole on the planet than Guilfoyle? Like, no,
he
but
sucks.
he's such a dick.
He works hard, like he's doing the server.
No,
and
it's true.
He didn't fuck up. Dinesh did. You
Yeah.
know, like,
But that's why I think today I was so excited when I thought they were going to get this new office space, because I was
too.
like, that would be a step in the right direction. They need at least one motivating force in their operation to get people on board with, this is a real business.
Yeah,
We need to
official.
take
Something
ourselves
a little bit more
seriously.
official. Totally agree. And also, I was excited about just like, for me, like visually, a new space to watch in this show, because they spend a lot of time at the house, and I was like, it'd be nice, a little bit of green, exposed brick, like, why not?
looks like a legit company.
Yeah, exactly.
Not like a
It would
weird-
match the work they've put into it.
Yeah, and you want to see Richard kind of like get to like have something to show for himself, and the office space would have been that, a point of
Definitely
pride.
looks nice. They had a nice little conference nook.
Yeah,
They could have
think
had
about all the
meetings.
conferences we could have in this nook.
conference.
Yeah, a modeling agency
I know.
above them. So I think a very good office, but it could be too much too soon. And I think that they were really playing with that, like how productive they can be with living at home.
Yeah, but
and working from there.
But it's illegal what they're doing, and I don't want another lawsuit.
The show is just trying to like force these like humble beginnings down our throat.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm worried that is going to be another thing that's going to blow up in their face. Maybe they don't need the beautiful office, but at least have a legal office space.
Right.
But didn't Ehrlich say Hewlett Packard started that way too? Like in a.
Well, yeah, my point is just the passion. When you live and work in the same place, like you literally never leave. Like you are always
There.
doing
And it's
that
obvious
stuff.
that is like taking a serious toll on Richard with his like night sweats or his bedwetting or whatever we decided this whole thing was. Like he's under some.
Is that what we're calling it? Night sweats? I love that line with Jared. It's like, you call it whatever you want. He's like,
Whatever
no,
you
I'm not
want.
peeing my bed.
I know. I feel like the office space actually would have been, and I think Richard even said that, like, actually I think I need this or whatever, and they still didn't get to go through with it.
Right. Well, it looked like they could only do one financially, have
Yeah.
the office space or the servers.
And it sucks that they had to waste all that money on all
Right.
the swag. So stupid.
I know.
Yeah, because his girlfriend, I'm gonna get these names
Russ.
right. Russ's
Russ
girlfriend was like part of the.
I know, she's like on the board.
Well, and Ehrlich essentially fucked them over for.
Oh,
He
yeah.
did. He
yes,
was proving a point.
Oh, yeah,
and
that
kind
was-
of took
It
it
was
too
his
far.
fault.
I know, but it seems like Ehrlich and Richard have pretty much, made amends.
Yeah.
I can only suspend so much. Whoa, I just spit. I don't know if you guys saw that. I can only suspend so much disbelief. Sometimes I'm like, come on, people, like get it together. You're on the brink of something potentially amazing. Stop screwing yourselves over.
I know. Mm-hmm.
It drives me crazy, but I guess that's part of the fun.
They're their own biggest obstacles.
I know.
Stop being so sensitive and have feeling. Like, I feel like they're just so moody a lot, and that conflicts
Yes.
with their.
Yeah.
I totally
work.
agree with that.
Well, I mean, again, they live and work together. They
Yeah.
literally never do not see. Like, they see each other 24/7.
I was wondering if they were going to move into this new space, if they were going to still sleep at Ehrlich, because I wasn't really sure what the sleeping situation was. And then when Richard was stumbling around trying to find a place, there was 20 people sleeping on the couches in that place. That would drive anybody insane.
All of Jin Yang's friends of friends.
What was that about?
Weird.
Was that a joke I missed about Jin Yang's friends of friends? I
don't know. I
so
think-
confused what that was about.
I think it's just people just invite people over and they never leave. I think that was the whole point. How
Right.
Guilfoyle invited people over and just.
Yeah, there's there's way too many bodies in one
Yeah,
area.
Totally.
They need to dial back the incubator, if you will.
The incubies. What did he call it? Yeah, incubies.
But no, I think that's actually what he was doing. He was kind of saying, I mean, we had the horrible examples for apps. Dog Damn It, I believe, which is a Christian. Dog renting
Dog sharing.
thing. Dog sharing, of course. I did like
I love that so much.
The logo was a Jesus fish
That
with
was
four
really
And
legs.
that's the Christian
4 legs,
Mingle
yeah.
logo, but with the 4 legs.
4 legs,
Because
nice.
Christian Mingle uses that
good
Jesus
stuff.
fish.
I've seen the Jesus fish with 2 legs before.
Oh, you have?
Yeah, that's a
That's
Darwin
something
fish.
else. That's a Darwin
Yeah.
fish. Oh, right. Yeah.
I love the tongue-in-cheek, poking fun at apps, and I always bring up whenever I notice them poking fun at the just Silicon Valley in general. But I think it's funny. I think the writers have a lot of fun with that.
Right.
No, and it definitely brings so much. It's it's in its silliness. It does bring kind of another dimension to the whole thing, just kind of
Right.
rounding everything out, even though it is silly.
No, definitely, and they find creative ways to do it. I think with Nucleus and that whole Dreamer banner check thing, that whole the spider monkey arm.
Dude,
What a
was
great
that?
creation! And then they tied it in back
Jerking himself off.
the comedy. That's so funny.
What did the arm have to do with
Well, no, it was
Pied
a arm prosthetic appendage that they could the monkey could control without any surgery,
Yeah.
which is a huge breakthrough.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That would revolutionize.
And
the world.
I think
he
it was
just did
just
monkey things.
building up
Yeah.
Davis Bannercheck's
frustration?
clout
Yeah,
and
sure.
and also just he's a genius,
Well, I mean-
and his counterpart
Yeah.
is this moron who's firing off this gun, and that's
Yeah.
what he's doing with his time at work.
I mean,
Right.
frustrated because he had just done this scientific, oddity, and then
Totally.
Gavin Belson didn't care pretty much.
Right. And he ended up quitting. He
Yeah,
resigned.
Yeah.
right.
So now the sole,
Head
what do they
dreamer.
call it? Head dreamer is Big Head. And he's like, wait, what?
Good thing about this though is that he was Pied Piper, blah blah blah, and Big Head's ears kind of perked up when he heard Pied Piper. That's the first time that he had I think realized that he was affiliated with Pied Piper at Hooli, and so now he's gonna start getting suspicious. Did you guys feel he got really suspicious when he heard that or no?
I don't know. I
thought I saw
I didn't catch that.
when he was
Right.
I know, but I really don't think Big Head understood that his affiliation with Pied Piper is. I mean, no, definitely. He did not know that his affiliation with Pied Piper is the reason for his upward mobility
Right.
at Hooli, and so I think that when Belson said that, it definitely struck a little chord with him, and he's gonna start getting suspicious about what Belson's motives are.
Yeah, maybe you are right. I mean, I feel it's been sort of par for the course for him because he's just been in that role of doing nothing and getting paid more and more. He knows that he's
But he has to
being
get
moved as
suspicious
sort
at
of a
some
pawn.
point. He has to get suspicious.
Right. I mean, I hope so. I mean, it would make sense for them to do that. I feel it's all for nothing if
Especially here
if they don't.
right in the middle of the season,
Yeah.
Something has to start happening. We can't. If we have another episode with a Big Head just getting things handed to him and him not questioning it, I'm going to be a little disappointed.
Well, I doubt that'll happen now that he is the sole person working under Gavin Belson.
Yeah.
Or at least he's the, what were you saying, dreamer?
Head
What is it?
dreamer.
Head dreamer.
Because so far everything with Big Head this whole season has been like, Big Head gets promotion, doesn't question it. Big Head gets promotion, doesn't question it. More money, blah, blah, blah. So I think that like we need to break that pattern a little bit. It's getting a little monotonous.
The feeling of the show for me is like it's a lot of it's smart comedy. I really do believe that, but also you can just like sit on the couch and just sort of like giggle to it.
Yeah, of course.
Like I feel like a lot of the audience of this show is like smoking weed before they tune in.
Oh yeah, like Ehrlich.
Right.
Like
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. It's sort of pandering to the people who they show on the show. So I know we dabbled into the Pied Piper side of things, but I did want to go back to what happened at the beginning of the episode when they go and check out the space.
The new office space.
Yeah.
The new office space, because I know earlier I said I really wanted them to have it, and I thought they were going to take it, especially after they had to kick Jared out of the garage. No one knew he was staying there, right?
Yeah. No.
Of course, classic Jared is like sleeping in a tiny corner in the garage.
What do you think the whole German thing's about? Are we going to
That
get to the
was
bottom
really
of that, or is that
strange.
just
I
like a
mean,
one-time gag?
I'm sure
I would
they'll
love
explore
to hear what he says.
Yeah, I
if
wanna
any
know the
fan
meaning.
speaks German, please.
Oh,
Also,
tweet or comment.
another thing about language when Ehrlich tried to mention something about when Ehrlich looked up some Japanese on Google Translate. I also want to know if that was correct. So comment below, Japanese speakers.
What was I going to say? Oh, I wanted to know, or I think that, and I want to know what you guys think about this. I think that there's going to be a lot more fun with Jared and Richard being roommates.
Oh yeah.
That's a whole lot of
No,
fun.
they're not roommates
Well, now they're not anymore.
Yeah.
Wait, why?
Noah.
He's moving in with Noah. He's in the guest house.
Right. Oh, right, because they blackmailed Noah.
I just love that like Jared is the one that Richard can talk to about the night sweats, and he's just like, he's not really judging. He's just like concerned.
Darn. I'm bummed about this because I saw on Twitter just a minute ago, like, I'm so excited to see what happens with Jared and Richard being roommates, like what I just said, what I just regurgitated. But you're right, he's going to move in there. Oh, I thought that was fun. I thought that was a fun little combo there.
But yeah, no, Jared, I mean, he's just like the nicest guy ever. I feel like he's just the one that you can talk to about everything.
I know.
Even when he doesn't believe you, like he doesn't believe that it's just night sweats.
No, I know.
And
He supports you. You know?
Oh man, the amount of support that he does give is, I think, above and beyond.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The what is it, Kegels? Have you guys?
Yeah.
Actually, I think it's Kegels.
I know,
I never
that's
heard of
what I thought,
Kegels.
yeah.
Kegels.
I wouldn't know, you guys.
Yeah, but you would know.
I would know.
Totally.
You strengthening those
Very,
muscles,
very
girls?
familiar with Kegels.
Please. Ehrlich presents Richard with a kimono. What was that about?
Don't you guys feel like Ehrlich was like specifically or like especially like I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but like especially like zen and like
Enlightened.
No, that's what I'm saying. Where did that all come
especially
from?
enlightened this episode.
Yeah, absolutely.
With his vernacular and everything, like
No,
he's always
A lot more
absolutely.
weed.
Yeah, maybe.
hash.
Maybe.
hashish.
And maybe when he's not being a ruthless businessman, that is his personality, and we're just used to him like putting his balls on the
Right.
table at the.
I don't know, like just like with his like language this episode, it was like super, I don't know, enlightened.
Maybe he realized, like, oh, they're leaving. I should be like nicer. Not end things badly.
I mean, yeah, his character is pretty chill though, just in general. I mean, he's got like, he's very laid back. He like doesn't really need to put on going outside clothes most days.
Yeah.
So
Kimono's fine.
yeah, the kimono, the beater, it's all good.
Effortless. The kimono is seasonal.
Was today our first interaction with Noah?
Yeah.
Yes.
I like that actor, by the way. I can't remember
Who
his
is
name.
it? He looks so familiar.
I know he was in Oh Brother Where Art Thou.
Oh, he was. Well, anyway,
Maybe that's wrong. I shouldn't just say like that if I didn't look it
he
up.
was a big part of today's episode, and he really drove that one plot point.
Right.
Like the neighbors could technically sue these guys. Like they're working under illegal.
Exactly. Their house is not zoned for business.
Yeah, but I think pretty much like that, the threat of them getting in trouble was pretty much moot.
Oh yeah.
Right.
I think it's washed away now that he was breeding ferrets next door, Noah.
Well, yeah, now that they found out that and they sort of have to blackmail,
really
they have a
illegal to
photo
have
of
a
it.
ferret in
It is
California?
in
Really?
California. Yep.
Why?
I had a neighbor in New
trade
Jersey
disease.
that had a ferret.
Yeah, in Michigan too.
He was a weird
Legally.
kid, though.
Was it in California?
No, it was New Jersey. So I don't know.
Well, they just let you have everything out there.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's crazy. I think in
Jersey's just
the
an illegal
Carolinas,
playground.
you can own like a bear, like legally.
Wait, where?
No problem. I think it's the Carolinas. I think both.
you can own
Both?
a bear.
But I could
Maybe
move to
even
either
both. Maybe
North
both.
or South Carolina and have a
It
bear.
could. I could be wrong. Could be just
What
one.
are we doing
Imagine
there?
having a little, not so much a big
How
bear, but
awesome
like a
would that
little
be?
bear cub that you could just snuggle.
I would have a little bear club.
I would have a bear cub.
I just
club.
want like a club.
a club of
Bear
bear
would be cool.
cubs.
I'd probably get a monkey though, just because it could grab things. It could help around the
Yeah,
house.
like
you
the
would have-
monkey,
you
the
would have-
monkey
Be a
will
little
poop at you.
assistant.
If you could
I'd say
have
having a
any,
monkey didn't look so appealing
True.
after this episode.
if you could have any wild animal, what would you have? A bear cub?
No, like an exotic cat.
Okay.
Like a tiger.
Yeah.
Tiger probably.
Or like a
They're pretty
leopard
awesome.
or I don't know.
I feel like they eat a lot.
I think
we wouldn't have to take care of these.
Could I get a
bald
jellyfish? Are those legal? Jellyfish? I
Eagle.
think they're beautiful.
Maybe just an
They're not
elephant. You
illegal.
could
Oh,
ride.
that'd be yeah.
A donkey.
Donkeys aren't
Yeah.
illegal.
Okay.
People have donkeys
And not
on
very
farms.
exotic. If that's your choice, I mean,
I don't
go
know.
for it.
I'm
I feel
scared
like
of
you could do
animals.
that.
I want
like that's within.
I want an elephant. It reminds me of Ace Ventura.
Yeah, that was so dope.
Yes.
Do you remember?
Bumblebee tuna.
Yikes.
Bumblebee tuna.
When nature calls,
anyways,
good
yeah.
sequel.
What else
well,
happened tonight?
Yeah, what else happened on the
back to
episode?
Silicon Valley.
Well, Dinesh, he almost ruined things for everybody
He
by
did.
blacking
Power
out.
went out.
Yeah.
We had a lot of technological terms thrown at us in this episode. Still enjoyable. There are sometimes where I'm like, "What's a CPU? I just want to know."
Yeah.
Just smile and nod.
Yeah, I know. or
Well,
look it up.
CPU, I believe, is
like if
computing
someone cares
processing
about-
unit. So that one's pretty
Oh,
tame.
shut up, JB.
You're
You
so
were
smart.
asking. You were asking.
I guess I was using
But no, yeah,
CPU
there
as like
was a lot of tech
an umbrella
jargon
for-
that was thrown out.
I don't want you to answer any of my rhetorical
It was
questions.
Yeah,
rhetorical.
yeah.
I got that.
I also am
I
wondering.
told you to
It's all
shut
good.
up.
Are you a techie? Are you like a tech guy?
I mean, I know a little bit. I'm definitely not like Silicon Valley level.
Because I
status.
wonder, do you guys wonder this when you watch a show? Like people who really know this world, I wonder what their thoughts are on the
Yes,
show.
I was thinking that today when I wasn't understanding anything. I was like, is this show such a different experience for someone who really does understand?
I'll say this, but before we started the second season, I read this article in the New York Times that talked about how half of the stuff on this show is legit. It's research, it's cool. Half of the stuff is total BS, but they're not trying to be accurate. Like, remember in last season, the finale of last season when they were doing like the jerking off from the middle?
Yeah.
How you could jerk off the
Right.
most number of men at the same time,
Yeah,
and
of
they figured
course.
out you could do 4 from going from the middle.
Yeah.
Well,
But
obviously,
they had to be the same height, right? Wasn't
groundbreaking
there?
discussion. by the way.
Right. But that is a moment where the writers, I think, have taken a liberty, and they're not obviously not trying to be accurate. They're not trying to be reasonable, and that's what I think's funniest about the show. Is it mixed this like legitimate jargon with
yeah.
like silliness?
It's a wonderful
Right.
balance
Yeah.
between highbrow and lowbrow humor.
Totally,
Real life is boring. You need to add some fake stuff to make it funny.
I agree.
You know.
Ding ding ding.
Television.
Ooh, true story. No, that's
It's
a good
not
point.
television.
What is it?
HBO.
Quinn, you make such a good point. That's a great point, Quinn.
Touche.
I know what
Lynn.
that stands for. Home box office.
Nice.
Nice.
we
There you
go back
go.
to
Did you know that,
CPU?
JB?
I did. I did. It's,
Damn.
Quinn.
Can't
but
wait.
thank you for
I can't
explaining
wait.
it to everybody. Did you know about that, Quinn?
I did.
Okay.
I took a couple TV classes in college.
Nice.
But not any
Not
what,
any
programming classes?
No programming classes. Or at least TV jargon programming classes. There should be one like that.
Nice. There should be.
For
There's a
like
lot.
medical stuff and I don't know. Never mind. Moving on.
Well, yeah, so they blow the power out. You know, obviously that's a problem for all of the names. I'm surprised that just the one we were dealing with came out on his wheelchair and took the very long route
Yeah.
through the driveway.
That was funny.
But
It was so funny. I'm just remembering
as
and
bad.
laughing again.
just because he came up just to say nothing.
know,
He was like, "Yep, I'm reporting you."
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, we
they
had
were
this
like, "We
conversation
know you're reporting
minutes
us."
ago.
Well, maybe he was the only one that knew that they had something, like, he saw that, he's like, what are you making, computers back there?
And you have the Pied Piper logo like literally
Yeah,
on the
I
garage.
noticed that. I was like, okay, it's obviously not like a residential area. Or it is a residential area. It's obviously not, that home is not just a residential home.
Right.
I didn't think they were making any bones about that. Right.
Yeah, very well.
They also have like the Aviato car in front, parked in the driveway at all times.
I love the way he says it. Aviato.
But yet, I think until now, it's been very low key. Like they've just been, typing on computers.
And it's only been like the 5 of them, however many.
Right.
And now it's.
Now that they're installing like a whole server farm in the garage. Like that's where the power is getting, like how much they use changes a lot. Obviously, the potential to blow out everyone's power on the block is a thing. So that's why I feel like more neighbors could have been concerned, given the fact that their power went out.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that it wasn't like a huge backlash, but at the same time, half-hour show, we can only
see one guy.
Yeah.
Right. True.
Yeah.
Only meet so many neighbors.
Fortunately, this guy has ferrets, so he's not a threat anymore.
I know. Blackmail.
It's good stuff. When in doubt, blackmail people. You heard it here. Yep.
Anyway, so yeah, we want to do a little bit of prediction.
Yeah.
Let's have some prediction action.
And now, your AFTERBUZZ TV predictions.
All right.
Yeah, do you guys have any
Still going.
glaring predictions from any of you guys, or do you want to just go down the line?
Anything glaring from you?
Oh, no. I don't think.
I think that's fair.
Yeah, I don't think Big Head's gonna put 2 and 2 together because he's.
See, I think he is.
I don't think so. I think something.
Maybe not put 2 and 2 together, but start to get a little more suspicious.
Maybe he's just gonna get more annoyed if he has to actually do work.
Yeah.
What else? I think they're gonna win the trial because look at how far behind Nucleus is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
I want Richard to find out how far behind Nucleus is because then he won't be so nervous. And
Yeah,
freaked
that's a
out.
good one. I like that.
I want him to know.
That'd be cool. What happened to Russ too?
I don't know. He's
Be
probably
cool
on,
if he,
a
like,
jet.
Gets in a car accident or something. Like convenient for them.
Yeah.
To just, like, break.
I love TV where we can just like wish someone would die. Like it's so great. Can you just kill them off? They're so annoying. Just kill them.
My prediction is that maybe this is me projecting because I want them to be a little bit more professional, but I want them to like take themselves more seriously, and I hope they come into more money. I think they will. I think they're going to get a little bit more leeway, a little bit more spending money, and I want them to have a new office. I want them to be able to hire the best. I want people to not be able to like jerk off at work.
I totally agree.
I don't know. It's just driving me crazy to see these people running around like Goofy, and I'm very Goofy. I like Goofy. But come on, people.
Come on.
Come on, guys. So that's my prediction. Things are going to move into a more professional world.
I think so as well. I mean, a little bit just because they are they're hiring new people. They have to be a little bit stricter on the actual lines between work and home. Having said that, they're still working from home, so that's very difficult to do. It's not like you can just leave stuff at the office. Like, when we saw them at the pool, he was like, well, shouldn't you be working? He's like, no, I'm actually on my home time. Like, it's impossible to tell the difference. And Quinn, I agree with you. I think we have to get some trial action soon. And probably Big Head will, since he's the head of the Dream, is it the Dream?
Big Head Dreamer.
Big Head Dreamer.
Head Dreamer.
Head Dreamer. He is the Big Head Dreamer.
Yeah, right.
Interesting.
Baghead Dreamer.
Circle.
Baghead, yeah.
Cool.
Well, because he's the head of that whole division, I feel like now we have a place where they can really communicate. Him and Richard can talk about how far Nucleus is behind.
Yeah. I just want a little bit more transparency.
Come on, guys.
Come on. I hate seeing like both Big Head and Richard so in the dark.
Right. Well, hopefully soon the storylines will merge again.
Yeah.
Until then, where can the good people find you guys?
You can find me, Kelly McInerney, at Twitter and Instagram at Holly Weirdo.
You guys can find me on Twitter at Quinn Scillian. You can find me on Vine at the Quinn B, and you can find me on Instagram at Quinstagram.
Guys, thanks for watching. You can find me, Jon Manganello, on Twitter and Instagram at Johnny Mangs.
And you guys can find me, JB Zimmerman, at JB_Zimmerman on Twitter and Instagram. And please remember to rate the show. Follow us. Thank you guys. We will see you next week.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
See you later. The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.